All right, welcome back. NBA trade season is here. As of December 15th, all the free agents that signed in the offseason are now eligible to be traded. And we're gonna do some of those trades, man. We are gonna do some trades. We're gonna talk about people. We'll look at this trending players thing here, and we'll kind of just do things as we go. Talk about different prospects, different young players, star players, role players that should be traded. Of course, if you guys have any recommendations for a player, say it. If you have any ideas that we can just make some shit shake and we can check it out while we're here. Um, but yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. I'm trying to do more live stream things like this where we can interact with each other, kind of build a little bit of an audience, community here, some people that can engage in themselves, and I'm just here to make this all a reality. So I don't know if I'm in the way, might be in the way, might need to move myself up, might need to move myself down, but we'll figure it out later. I don't want to do the big one yet because again, there's probably not a lot of people here. Again, we will do trades for anyone. If you want to see a trade and see how something might work for OKC, we could do it. If you want to see how something might work for Washington or New Orleans, we'll make it happen. We'll make it. We'll see how things go. I do find it like it's kind of funny that in the West you could be a game under and you could be the 8th seed. If you're a game under in the East, you're the 10th seed. So that's kind of how things were. It was kind of flipped in the past, but it's a little different with this stuff this year. And I don't think that's because the East is better. I just think it's more well rounded, I guess, if you will. Completely realizing I am messing everything up here. Let me fix that. Alright, some things might be cut off, but we should be fine. We will obviously talk about some Giannis trades. We'll talk about some Anthony Davis, like some Ja Morant, some Trae Youngs. Most likely, we'll bring up at least once. Um, but yeah, let's just give it a couple minutes. I don't know what the first trade I'd like to do is. I do want to put this on Twitter real quick though. But come on, I want to get at least a person in here. Hopefully, gotta get the link for this real quickly. The New York Knicks will not raise an NBA Cup championship banner at Madison Square Garden. The Lakers and Bucks both raised banners for the first 2 years of it, but the Knicks will celebrate at home on Friday. I'm good with that. I don't think there's any issue with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. who do we want to move first? We're gonna get into our first trade. We've been sitting here for about 5 minutes now. I know what I want to do. This is my channel, so we're doing it. We're gonna try and make this work. So, Boston Celtics are in the first apron, but they are not in the second apron anymore, which is good for them. I want the New York Knicks, the Celtics, to get a center. I want Nicholas Claxton. That's really the guy that I would want based off all the centers that are kind of on the market, because one, he is going to be semi-valuable, but he's not going to be like Zubac has been rumored. I think Zubac would take like 2 first-round picks. And I don't know if we need to give up 2 first-round picks to get a center when we could get maybe a Claxton, whose money with Anthony Simons matches up pretty well. And honestly, I think if we do this, like, we get rid of, like, again, I'm not a Luka Garza guy, so I think we get rid of that. I would like to keep our first round pick for this year. San Antonio, these teams are going to be good, so I don't... Right, San Antonio can swap if our pick is higher. Let's give that over. Now, I don't know if I'm being a little stingy because this is my team, so I'm like, I don't want to give up a lot. But let's see. Failed. Consecutive the stipend trade. So we can't trade the 2028 one. So that actually is off the table. So because we trade 29, so we can't trade 28 or 2030. So I think you say, hey, just in case something crazy happens, I think you top 5 protect this pick and you give it to the Nets. And then we've got a success. Right? Okay, so I am going to be in the way. So let's put me up here a little, I guess. Alright. I'm gonna sit up here, even though this is a strange spot to put me, but so then the Celtics still will have, so hypothetically, again, this is more for next year, but my ideology for this is I want, if we're going to get a center with some value to be a good player, whether it's a Claxton, a Zubac, a Gafford, whoever else is on the market, I want them to kind of be implemented with the team before the year where we're really trying to compete again. Now, based on how this season is going, we're still trying to compete, but like, I want them to be as good as they can be with each other, and then when Tatum comes back, hopefully, get into some chemistry with Tatum. But other than that, the team should be ready to go. And I think, again, you get these players now because Pierre on Numbers on the Board made a very good point. I don't know if it was on his own show, Teed Up, or if it was on Numbers on the Board's main show, but it's like, or maybe it was Kenny. I don't know. It was one of them. And he was like, if you wait to do this till the off season, that's when it's a lot easier to trade for these guys because the cap implications, like it's going to be in free agency, a bunch of people aren't going to be there. It's going to be easier for teams to build their team when it's during the free agency time, and then they might steal your guy in Claxton. The Pacers, the Warriors also need a center, which I doubt they will ever do because while that front office is there, but like the Pacers, the Warriors are in a similar market. What's another team that might be in a similar market? I'm not 100% on it right this second. But I'm sure there's more that need a center. But those are like the 3 big ones, right? The Celtics, Pacers, Warriors all need a center. So I think you do this like as soon as you can. We're pretty damn close to being under the first apron, as you can see. The Nets, this is fine because again, Anthony Simons comes off the book, and then you got Luka Garza, who's a minimum for one more year. I think that's good because so yeah, when comes back, hypothetically, it would be Pritchard, White, Brown, Tatum, Claxton, and off the bench you still probably have Kada, you still probably have Sam Hauser, Jordan Walsh, probably Josh Minott. My thing is also they need guards too, so some guard play would also be nice for this team, but I think that's where we're gonna go with that one. Next, let's talk about the trade that I actually put on my TikTok, which I'm gonna try and start posting on my TikTok again. Which is it should just be my name, Keith Bazin, what it is like for the YouTube, is this. So, I guess let's. All right, where do we think Ja might want to go? Let's just honestly look at the teams that we've got here, and talk. So the Pistons, Knicks, no. Raptors could. Probably no to Magic and Celtics. No to the Sixers. No to the Cavs. No to the Hawks. Another team that we will probably talk about. The Heat. The Bucks. I mean, sure. If the Bucks are going down the route of wanting to keep Giannis, then maybe that's where you inquire about another point guard like Ja or Trae Young or something like that. The Heat are obviously going to be in the market because, well, that's who the Heat are, but I don't like the Heat really getting any of these players. And then I don't think anyone in the East. The West, the Spurs don't need it. Rockets and Timberwolves are interesting because, like, they could use more guard play. They could. But I don't know if they're necessarily needing to go for the big point guard. You know what I mean? Because they've got Ja Morant. Or they've got, like in the Timberwolves case, they have Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. They just need somebody that's reliable. They don't necessarily need the super max player again. Same with the Rockets. They've got KD. They've got Sengun. They got him, man. They just need someone kind of steady, which is why, even though Fred VanVleet's numbers haven't been very good, his impact is why they, have kept him around. They re-signed him after they paid him all that money in 2023, I think. But I just don't think that those teams need the superstar player. The Suns, I guess, if they are going to say, hey, we're Jalen Green, we gave you a game and a half before you got injured again and whatever, but Ja Morant, Devin Booker, Jazz, no. Portland, no. Dallas, no. Kings, Clippers, Pelicans. But let me do this. So, Jaren Jackson cannot be traded until January 13th because of his extension. But the trade that I did on my TikTok is this. So, we've got Jaren, who we will send over to Detroit. Returning will be Tobias Harris, will be Ron Holland, will be this year's pick, unprotected, and will be 2028 top. What do we do top protect? No, we just go unprotected. We also give up this second round pick and this second round pick. I believe this is exactly what the trade was. So it says failed because Jaren you got to technically wait till January 13th for this, but if you're telling me that the Pistons, it's only a $290,000 difference. It's not that big of a difference. If you're telling me that the Pistons can walk away and in a playoff series, they have the starting lineup of Cade Cunningham, Duncan Robinson, Asar Thompson, Jaren, and Jalen Duren, that is pretty damn good defensively. That I think is going to be very good offensively. because I mean Tobias Harris has been very reliable for them too. But if you're saying you got to throw in another 20 point per game score in there, you don't need to worry about the rebounding as much because he's going to be paired with Jalen Duren, who is one of the best rebounders in the league currently. Asar Thompson, who can rebound the ball. Cade can grab like 6 or so rebounds a game. Um, that you still have Beef Stew, you still have Karis LeVert, you still have Jaden Ivey off your bench. Now there is a world where maybe they also ask for Jaden Ivey. If they do that, I think that's when you start putting protections on the picks or you take away one of the first round picks, because I think Ron Holland and Jaden Ivey for a guy in Jaren who, I mean, if you don't remember, Jaren is obviously recently signed, but that contract is big, bro. It is big. It's a big player option, and maybe numbers wise isn't having the greatest um season, but he's also playing in Memphis, where the team is not too hot right now. But the only reason that the Grizzlies do this is if they do end up trading Ja Morant and they say, hey, we want to start going in the other direction. We don't want to, we're going to take a step back from competing. We still have some young guys like Zach Edey, Cedric Howard, Jalen Wells, who's still there. We're going to let those guys those are going to be maybe some new building blocks. We'll have more picks because obviously they trade Desmond Bane. They got all the first round picks from Orlando, and then they get a couple more from Detroit, which again, maybe they're not the greatest value because at least this season it definitely won't be because they are currently the 1 seed, but they're probably gonna be a 20 through 30 first round pick. Excuse me. And I would just assume in 2028 that they're not gonna necessarily be worse because Jalen, that's 2 years in the future where Cade's maybe at this point a top 3 MVP candidate. Jalen Duren, might be a 20-10 guy. Asar Thompson might be all the defensive first team at that time. You don't know what's gonna happen. And then obviously in return they get the Tobias Harris, who is expiring. They get Ron Holland, who is a up and coming, promising defender, who's basically another first round pick as well. Because again, it's only his second year. He's 20 years old, and I think you do that. But yeah, look, still off your bench, you got Karis, Beef Stew, Ivy, Javonte Green, who had an insane dunk the other night versus Boston. And yeah, I just don't. It just sucks, man, because we haven't even seen Ty Jerome with this team. I think Brandon Clark's maybe been injured too. Zach Edey's back to being injured after he started the year injured. I just don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't realize Cedric Howard was 22 years old. But yeah, I think that's something else that I definitely think could happen, and that's probably my favorite spot for Jaren. Obviously the Pistons can also, they can pretty much trade for kind of, if they want to go get Lowry Markkanen instead. If they want to go get, they could probably have a very decent package to go get Giannis, which I guess, let's do it while we're here. Let's just talk hypothetically for Detroit since we were already here. So that's $54 million going in the door. That's still got to be Tobias. That's got to be, I think you've got to throw in Karis LeVert. That's about 40. You got to throw in Ron Holland, and I think you also have to throw in Jaden Ivey. Now, the problem with this, these are 4 rotational players. And depth matters in the NBA now. Incoming for the Pistons is $54 million, but they're sending out $59 million. And then if we're being honest, Giannis is currently the best player in the NBA. You've got to give up 2026. You've got to give up 2028. You've got to give up 2030. You've got to give up probably 2032 as well. And I think this is, excuse me. Sorry, and I truly think this is what you're looking at. I mean, you're getting in, the Bucks are getting in another 5 million more, but again, Tobias Harris is expiring. Jay Ivey, you're gonna have to determine what to do, which might be not a situation they don't necessarily want to be put in. The Pistons, again, get in 3 years of Giannis, but you also do need to remember that they did not pay Jalen Duren this offseason with some of the other restricted guys. And based on the way Jalen Duren's playing, he's going to get a max because that's just how the NBA works. You get 4 first round picks again, maybe 2026, 2028, hell, even 2030, maybe not that good, but you're banking, hey, in 6 years for 2032, maybe Giannis is gone. Maybe Cade's injured. Maybe that pick can end up being a top 5 pick. Who knows? Um, there's so much things that change in the NBA constantly, but um, yeah, I think this is truly something that you have to look at and be like, damn, do we want to give up our starting power forward, a guy we just got in who can shoot the ball, Jay Ivey, who was a fifth overall pick, 4 years ago for us, but he's had some injuries, but he was looking real promising before the bad injury last season, and then Ron Holland, who you just drafted fifth overall, not even 2 full years ago, right? Like, and as much of a no-brainer as this seems, like, you've got to think about it, because then you're left with what? Cade, Duncan Robinson, Jalen Duren, Asar, and Giannis. Your shooting's not going to get better. Hell, it's going to get worse because you're losing Tobias Harris, Caris LeVert, and Jaden Ivey. So that's something you got to think about. Then you'll still have beef stew. You still have. That's where it gets tricky. It's whoever's trading for him is really gonna, gotta determine: are we giving up all all of our depth for him? What else? Who else are we thinking about? So, the Knicks, which I just don't think the Knicks have it. Like, because even if you're saying, okay, hey, take Cat, that basically makes the money match perfectly. But I think the value, right? How many picks you have? You've got Washington, but it's top 8 protected. Um, you've got your own. You've got this Brooklyn holds the right to swap pick. And then you got your own in 2030 and 2032. I don't think pick wise that's enough. So you've got to be like, okay, take like, oh Jesus, I don't think they can take OG. How much would that do what would that do to their cap? That would put them in the second apron. They don't want to be in the second apron if they can't even what's it called? Be in the play-in? And it's not guaranteed that they make the play-in. So let's see this. So this would put them in the first apron. And then you're looking at, Jalen Brunson, maybe Deuce McBride, Mikal, OG, and this is where Giannis starts his center career. Don't hate it. But again, you basically every single pick here, 2020, you might have to give up this Washington one. You might have to give up this Brooklyn. You might literally have to give up every single pick here. Because even though you're getting a good talent and a good player that I guess sort of matters, I just don't think it's enough. All right, sorry about that. What were we talking about? I have no clue. But you also have to determine if you do say if Giannis says I want to go to New York, are you keeping Miles Turner? Are you keeping Kuzma? Are you keeping Bobby Portis? I don't know. I just don't. I don't like the New York trade, so I'm gonna just not even really think about it. Hawks. I don't think so. Right? I don't think so. I don't know. Bulls. No, no, no. So OKC, they could put a bid in. They're not gonna. The Nuggets. I think the Nuggets should think about it, bro. Their depth already isn't too great. I would think about it, bro. I would like to see that would be in Giannis and Jokic on the same team, bro. Lakers, of course, would want it, but they can't do it. Spurs said they wouldn't do it. Rockets said they wouldn't do it. Nope. Nope. Warriors said they would trade Draymond to get him. But, bro, Draymond Green, you've got to give up Moses Moody. That's what? That's incoming of 37 million. You got to make up probably a good another 17 million, which probably means oh no, you give up Kaminga. You give up Kaminga as well. But their picks, they've got to give up every single first round pick here. Every single first round pick. Boom. 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 Although I don't actually think you can give up every single one of these. I think it's going to tell me no. Is it the stipend stuff? Okay, no, it's just the Jonathan Kaminga thing. Oh, and stipend. Oh, they would also need to get a player back. So hold on, let's try and make this sort of work. So let's just say, all right, for the hell of it, where is he? Boom. And boom, you could get both the brothers too. But pick, so we say no to 26 and no to 28. But that's not enough. There's no way in hell that's enough. Yeah, and they can't do it. Kaminga, I mean, because picks, they're not. You're not only trading 2 first round picks for Giannis, so we're not even going to entertain the idea any more than we did. But I think that, dude, I think the Nuggets should think about it, bro. I think they think. I mean, that means you get rid of Aaron Gordon. You've gotta get rid of, but they don't have picks. That's also they got. I guess they could give up at least 3. I think you give up this. You give up. You gotta give up Cam too. And you gotta give up one more person, and I think that's gonna be uh they don't have anything. I mean, Zeke, let's just say Zeke Naji to get the money to basically match. And you give up 2026, you give up 2028, you give up 2030. Although again, I don't think they can because of I hate the stipend rule makes everything so confusing. Okay, it works though. It says stipend, so maybe not with the picks, but like, so maybe they can't get it done. Maybe a third team. I mean, a third team is going to need to be involved in all these Giannis trades most likely because we don't ever just see two. Like, it's never just a 2 team trade like this. But man, I don't know. I think you do anything to get this to happen except giving up Jokic or Jamal Murray. I think you give them whatever they ask for that will make it work. Now, is that enough? Hell no. There's no. And you'd like to think, okay, the Bucks could get a better deal for that. But after saying the Spurs and the Rockets wouldn't trade for them, you're hoping maybe OKC for some reason wants to buy in. But other than that, it's gonna get rough on who you can get for him. Now, granted, this is not the best trade there is, but I don't know, man. I just think it's gonna be too hard. But I want to see Giannis out of there, man. I want to see Giannis out of there. All right, let's do this. So the Atlanta Hawks are rumored in a bunch of trades. Is there anywhere Trae Young would like to be? Trae Young can be hidden in Toronto if you have Scotty Barnes, if you've got Brandon Ingram. I don't think I don't know if any of those point guards are gonna get moved though. I think that's just the problem. I don't think any of the point guards get moved. But I think this is something that we've seen a bunch too. Anthony Davis to the Hawks. You give up Porzingis, who, my God, hope he can get better. He is going through some shit over there. I think you give up Luke Kennard. And you give up... And you give up... What would that do to the money? Can they do it just like this? Can they just eat some of that cap? What is it? By a million? What do you... Wait. Hawks are unable to complete this trade since they're not on over the apron team. They are setting out. Hawks can only take back 52. Cut 1.7 million from the Hawks. Okay, so what if we just add someone that's making 1.7 for the Hawks? So like, you say Moge, it was nice having you. See you later. Okay, so that's it. So that they can take that money, of this. So that's good to know. Picks, you can't give up this pick. This is the like holy grail of picks right now. Yeah. So you give up boom, 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 boom. They've got the picks. They've got the picks to make it happen. So then you walk away with a lineup of Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Risa Shea, Jalen Johnson, and AD. So you can run some lineups with Jalen at the 3, AD at the 4, Okongwu at the 5. 6'8". No chance Okongwu is only 6'8". No way. You still get like... And if you run that first line, you get Nikhil off the bench. You get a Okongwu off the bench. You got Asa Newell who can get some burn in. You know, V. Craigie, I guess. But yeah, I don't think that's too bad, man. I don't think that's too bad at all. The Bulls, nope. I mean, there's a world where like the Warriors are like, okay, you know, what will it take to get like a Kobe White and a Vucevic deal? This is something that was been rumored for a couple years now, but that's like 30 mil. You say, hey, Kuminga and like Buddy Hield, maybe? No, not Buddy Hield. They like Buddy Hield. And I don't know. Let's just say Tracy, because they disrespect the fuck out of both those players. Failed. Let's see. Oh my God, never mind. I don't even... Cut 9.6, is that what that said? From what? So they've got to give up a Buddy Hield. And like... Let's do D'Anthony Melton instead of Tracy. They're hard cap. Yeah, never mind. Nothing there is gonna happen. What else do we have? We've got like Raptors, basically trading RJ. Is there a team that would just take RJ for like some more point guard play? Like, do the Grizzlies just say, okay, do the Hornets? Apparently, Concanipple is the person that they value more over LaMelo now, so they say, hey, take RJ, because I don't know if anybody's taken quickly. That's $150 million right there. I think you've also got to give up, like, could they get Grady in this? Could they also get Grady? What are we saying? We'll cut $5 million from the Raptors incoming, so $5 mil. $5 mil. Maybe they also got to give up Ochai Agbaji. That makes it work. I think at this point you only give honestly like a pick or two, right? You only would give like a pick or two up. You give up like you say, hey, we'll be cool this season, hopefully. But I think it's too much of a swing to go like more like I think you got to go like top 10 protected. Trade that to the Hornets. I think LaMelo is too much of a risk to like really pile on a bunch of assets. I think it is. I don't know if I would do anything more than this, like trading out. Honestly, I mean, I don't even know if you'd want to give up like OJ or Grady, but like I don't know, man. Oh. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, but I don't know if they would want to give us something like this up. So we got to think about that part too. I do just realize that I am gonna have to cut this short a little bit. I do have to go, but we will do this again, of course. But those are just some of my small ideas, I guess, in a way. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Leave some more in the comments, and maybe I'll make a video about doing all your guys' trades, and we'll talk about those. But sorry for ending up being short. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Come back for more.